So I got my degree. We moved to St. Louis. I became a pastor. I was doing my master's degree in New Testament criticism. And then I became an atheist. So
I never used the quadratic formula, bro.
no, if you can't tell, I'm on Natty also.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
dude. The fans aren't sure.
Yeah, I know. I'm on Natty if anyone wants to know.
I didn't know we were going to talk about Jesus this much.
Please edit that. Please edit that.
Welcome to TOEHOLDyou. Today I have two friends of mine. First, Anthony Hughes, who is an entrepreneur and collegiate wrestler. We have a lot of topics I'd like to talk to him about. Another friend of mine today on the podcast is Jet. And Jet is aka Mr. Full Range. Jet is Jiu Jitsu competitor, entrepreneur, obviously some kind of bodybuilder. Do you call yourself a bodybuilder?
No, I don't consider myself a bodybuilder. I just
a body sculptor.
Body sculptor. I just enjoy fitness. I mean, I do jujitsu too, and I never ever wanted to do like a bodybuilding show or anything like that. It's just like a passion of mine.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk to you about making natty gains today. All kinds of different topics around your Mr. Full Range page.
Dude,
and other things too.
I'm just glad that I finally made it to the point where people think I'm on roids. Like, young kids that like the fucking Lifetime will be like, dude, what are you taking, man? Taking SARMs? Like, no, dude,
This is what you on, bro.
Is Nicky Rod really... We're thinking he must be, huh?
Dude, to be honest, I always thought he was. Just because, like, I don't know. Like, when I look at his physique versus, like, Gordon Ryan's... Like, Gordon Ryan has that, like, capped-out shoulder, like, mega traps. And, like, when I look at Nicky Rod, like, he never had that.
Yeah,
he had, like,
it's true. Like, if I actually look at him, now that he claims to be the Natty King, I'm like, I guess he could possibly
I
win.
don't know. He was pretty stacked like 2 years ago.
He was stacked,
true,
but
I
he
know.
didn't have that
It's-
weird lumpiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
he was
at-
like 20.
His
so,
body's,
I
like,
mean,
more...
but-
His body's more consistent, I feel like. You know what I mean?
I saw people that were clearly on gear at a last tournament I did, and it was like lumpy muscles. I've seen people that I've known to be on gear, and like you can tell, like, not always, but like,
Yeah.
so Nicky Rod does not have that and doesn't seem to have other,
No, and, like, he's posted...
and he passed that test.
And he's posted, like, pics when he was younger, and he dude's just jacked, just built that way. And quite frankly, like, it's not like he's like, oh my God, I can't believe he's natty. He's got a good physique, but it's like, dude, we see NFL players with better physiques than that. We see other, like,
If he really
see
is
a
out
bunch
there,
of people with
if he really
physiques like
is
that,
out there touting like natty jiu-jitsu and shit like that, then he's gonna have to be one of my favorite grapplers. He wasn't before. Craig Jones was. So
Craig Jones.
Anthony, I also want to talk to you today about people finance.
Yeah.
How much do you want to talk about? You want to talk about the B2C and the B2B product
Talk
you
about
have?
whatever.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was gonna talk to you. So you have this startup, people finance. The basis of that is people become owners in this financial institution. It's a little more, it's almost like a credit union in my mind, but then it meets kind of a co-op, kind of a whatever structure idea behind it. But now you've recently got onto this B2B product, which may, kind of disrupt or aims to disrupt the what do you call it?
The
payday loan industry.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Tell somebody about
Yeah.
it.
So, people finance used to be stonks trading when I
Right.
started 2.5 years ago. Came out of Wall Street bets, GameStop sending it to the moon, and then Robinhood. Fuck those guys. Shut down trading to GameStop and AMC. You guys remember this?
Yeah.
And so I just come off exiting my consulting firm, and I wasn't really doing anything. And so I looked at Jill, and that's my wife, and I was like, I'm going to start another company today. She's like, okay. And so I started Stonks Trading, and the idea behind it was a member-owned trading application. Didn't really know how to do it. Didn't realize all the regulations and SEC requirements and everything for being a broker-dealer, so figured that out as I was going along. But it took hold, grew to about 12,000 people on the wait list. We had 1,000 active traders, featured on the New York Stock Exchange billboard, NASDAQ billboard, and Times Square that was pretty cool. It was pretty rad. But about a year ago, like trading, like the stock market started going down. People stopped trading, and we started heading into kind of a financial crisis, and a banking crisis more specifically. And so evolved stonks trading into people finance, which keeps the same ethos and passion about being member owned, but we essentially call ourselves like a member owned neobank. And you're right, it's like a credit union. Most people don't know that credit unions are nonprofits. We can dive into that in a second, but all credit unions are nonprofit 501c3s. And so I like to kind of explain that we're a for-profit nonprofit kind of. And so member owned, meaning we're pushing the best products and services out there for our banking users. But we're still in it to make profit. So, yeah, that's what we're working on today.
You got to be in step with, I mean, it's in step with the kind of new, more socially conscious things out there. I mean, we won't say like ESG, not like fake socially conscious.
Yeah. Well, I think it boils down to like business people, business owners, entrepreneurs can make a hell of a lot of money and still do right by their customers and their members. Like how much of the pie do you really need? And so what most people do is they'll start a business, they'll sell portions and portions and portions of their company to investors and VCs. They're all in it to make 100x return on their capital. And that's at the expense of sometimes doing ethically moral things, like good things. And we kind of just flip the script where it's like we don't take that much investor money. And we actually reinvest a lot of our profits into building better products and services.
So you're not going to go full FTX?
No, I'm just half FTX.
And I feel like
What even happened to that guy? Like, I haven't heard much from him.
Sam Blankfield?
Yeah.
Bankman-Fried. Yeah.
He's chilling now?
He's just chilling, waiting prosecution. So I think he's still on house arrest in his mansion. But yeah, that's what happens when you steal from a lot of people.
Yeah.
We might look back at that 2020 post-pandemic kind of run as kind of almost like a blow off top of like the 2000s, when people were getting money so easy back then. All the public markets had run up, so then the private money was all chasing gains, and they were looking for whatever they can get, and it really was kind of like a hot moment. And if you were into crypto, then that was almost one of the triggers. If you're into AI this time or crypto, if you had .com last time, that was the thing. So.
I think it's kind of funny. Well, all the crypto bros are kind of AI bros now. Not as heavy.
Now they're ChatGPT bros.
Bros. But what's crazy, I saw a meme and it was like, crypto bros like now are like the biggest investors in like money market accounts. It's like 4% gains.
I feel like a bunch of people are fronting about ChatGPT. Like I'll go on Twitter and someone's like, I got 10 jobs and I'm using ChatGPT to get 10 salaries. It's like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, I don't think
you know what I mean. Like maybe you got two or three, but I literally have seen that exact. I think I sent it to you. Like they gotta be
true or not. I do know some people are leveraging it before the company's leveraging it. Like employees are leveraging things before their company does, and now you got the whole OE community. People are overemployed, and I've only heard of people in the like overemployed doing like 2 or 3 or maybe 4, but.
Yeah, I saw a tweet.
If you're just supposed to write stuff, sometimes ChatGPT is not. Lately, especially too, it's not writing like the high quality stuff.
It's got nerve.
I tried to get it to write like a little article thing, and it's like I was like, I can't submit this. I just rewrote it from scratch.
Yeah.
Well, Jared put me on ChatGPT like before it was cool. I thought you were talking,
and that's back when it was based.
You were talking.
That's
about
way
it
back
like,
in December.
That was back before it would give you.
It was
like,
actually good, dude. You showed it to me, and I was like,
it was so good.
Honestly, you were telling me about it for
they nerfed
a month or two, and I was just like, whatever. Like, what the hell is this? And then I actually tried it. I'm like, damn, dude, it's giving you like sufficient answers, just huge ass.
I use it now almost like Google every once in a while when I want to aggregate some information.
Yep.
I had it write a book summary for me on a book I was already reading.
Yep.
And then it was an audio book, and I asked it to write down, an example from that book that I was listening to while I was listening to it. And it wrote down this example, and I was like, this is cool.
Just I mean, if you use it I use it probably almost every day.
Really?
Yeah, just with work and
sending emails. You're like, dude,
I used to every day too.
I don't even want to like
yeah,
compose this email.
yeah. Like I'll do so if I'm like doing a summary, I do a lot of summary work with just articles and stuff, and so now with GPT-4 it can search the web, which is pretty cool. And so I'll just throw in a hyperlink, to
Oh, it's like an extension now?
Yeah,
Like
but
a-
it's
like-
built natively into the app, which is pretty neat. And so I'll throw like a link in there and say like, hey, give me 4 bullet points like on this article, and then boom, you have a summary of the article. So I think using it in context like that, it's when someone can do when everybody can do something, right? Like that's what ChatGPT does. Like any Joe can do something in there, then it becomes commoditized at that point, right? And so you use it to supplement or enhance your work. That's different than trying to build a whole company
Yeah, that's a
off
good
of
word. Like
ChatGPT.
supplementing your.
We're gonna find out with ChatGPT how conscious we really are, or how special consciousness is, because it almost is like a consciousness emulator or something. Almost like we're just large language models.
Right.
Like right now, every word that's coming through me, I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know necessarily which one's coming next. This thing's just generating text, just like my neural network.
Well, it's freaky
exactly.
because like
So it could just be like, people are going to go, when's it going to become conscious, or when's it going to become this, that? And it's like, it might just keep answering questions better and have a nice dialogue with us, and eventually we'll just accept either that it's conscious, or that really we weren't that conscious in the first place either. We're just kind of language models too, right? We're just a natural phenomenon that's outputting text.
Well, you have to
maybe we
think,
just will turn into batteries, bro.
Into batteries.
well, I think that you have to think like a human consciousness is taking inputs in, digesting it, and then output.
It's
right?
not that special.
It's not really. It's really not a complicated computing model. Clearly, like OpenAI built something pretty damn similar to like how we are as humans, right? And so I think it's already there. I actually do think it's there. It's probably been there for a decade, but now we're starting to be able to interface with it like on a human level, which is kind of
It's
interesting.
just freaky because like AI is like known for exponential growth, like in chess. Like what's the chess player, the Alpha Zero or whatever? There's like a few now, but like they'll go from like level 1000, and then all of a sudden within like a few hours they're just smoking all the grandmasters.
We've talked,
and then they verse each other and they just keep getting better, and it's crazy. Like, well, I wonder if that'll happen.
Well, Moore's law like talks about that, right? So like Moore's law is technology doubles essentially every half cycle or something like that. So you think about it this way: like 10 years ago or so, like no one had supercomputers in their pockets, right? Like now we have an AI supercomputer in our pocket, right?
true.
And so you see the rate of technology change over a period of time.
And things just become normal. It'll just
It's
become normal. Like
normalized,
there'll be kids that have teachers that are Chat GPT, just 6 or something.
Yeah.
And that's just like their teacher.
Yeah.
Because we're having trouble with, and look at how it's going to change the workforce in the same way. And humans will still have their roles, but we could, it may be one of the few options we have to usher in some real prosperity. AI or AGI, and definitely capitalism, I think, is still part of that. I know a lot of like young kids these days kind of, back to your discussion we're having, like, you guys are for profit. Like, capitalism is the most powerful thing we've ever come up with.
Right.
You want to point that in the right direction.
Yep.
It's not. It's kind of like the gun debate. You want to point it.
You just point it in the right
use
direction.
it in the right direction.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
It's not complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you want the bad guy on that end.
Yep.
Not the other way. But it's like you can point anything that's powerful. Nuclear power can be harnessed.
Yep. And
Instead
it's extremely
of nuclear
powerful.
bombs.
It's extremely powerful.
Or it can be dangerous. But
Yep.
capitalism to me is like that because of the power. And then
Yep.
you got a whole bunch of young kids. So we don't need that at all. And they want to be like, communist China or some shit.
Right.
This is why I'm not on TikTok, by the way.
Yeah.
Because they're going to ban me immediately.
Dude, I tried that app once.
I tried to do it. I couldn't do it.
bombarded
Yeah, I
with
couldn't
stuff.
do
I'm
it.
like, God,
Yeah.
this is terrible.
I couldn't do it. I think I've logged into it 2 or 3 times.
Dude,
ever.
it is a
Listen,
disaster.
Can't do it.
I know
No
that like
thanks.
maybe someday I'll be a big business owner and I'll have to suck up to China like Papa Elon
Suck up
does.
to China.
You see how Elon Musk talks a lot about free speech. Notice how he doesn't say shit about Xi Jinping looking like Winnie the Pooh or anything like that.
Nothing.
Doesn't do a single meme about it.
Doesn't want assassins at his door, bro.
Oh, dude, you can't do it. So anybody pushing for any kind of, I don't know. I think TikTok is actually more dangerous than people think.
Oh, I think so.
They should have banned it a long time ago, but it's got so much critical mass. I can see it's not going to get banned, but I'm still not joining that shit. Fuck that.
No. But the thing
I
is,
thought Trump was banning it, and then like nothing happened.
I had somebody tell me, some younger
I
guy,
was
he was like,
what the hell?
you know, all the social media companies have all your info already. I'm like, I'm aware the CIA already has a file on me.
Yeah.
Oh,
But not the Chinese Communist Party. If you can't
Right.
see the difference between those two,
Yeah.
I mean, CIA dangerous, Chinese Communist Party existential.
Yep.
They're like that's like the real virus to me.
Yeah.
Like is communism and that kind of shit is so dangerous. To the
Well,
planet.
because it's also masked in like doing right by the people, right? When you think
It feels right.
When you think about it, like it feels right. It's like, oh hell yeah, man! Like
Yeah.
everyone like is taken care of. No, it's just a form of slavery. Like that's all it is. And so that's where I think, ethical capitalism is the like antidote to communism, right? And it's like,
Yes.
but ethical is the key point.
Yeah.
Right? Like, yeah, to a certain extent, you have to maximize shareholder value. I get that. Makes sense. They're owners of the company. You need to maximize their profits. But where can the line be crossed? Like, paying politicians, maybe? Like 50 politicians outperforming the S&P 500 this year by like double digits.
it's-
Like, I mean, like that's where ethical
shit.
capitalism has crossed the line, right? So
you got to get that Nancy Pelosi portfolio
dude.
yeah,
tracker.
What the
dude.
hell?
yeah.
I'm
It's
always
crazy.
on it.
It's crazy. It's outperforming like 3x the S&P 500 right now. It's unbelievable. But
She sucks.
yeah, you all follow Unusual Whales.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that on Twitter?
He's on Twitter, but Instagram.
Yeah, I
also.
see.
yeah.
I think I got him on Twitter where
Yeah,
it just
I-
shows like transfers. And
Nancy
shit.
Pelosi transferred $2.2 million in Google, and
Yeah,
and then the next
They
day
have,
they
like-
voted against it. Like,
yeah. They have like websites that track her. Like,
yeah. Unusual Whales built.
But
like,
if
an
we
ETF.
could get some
Yeah.
more ethical capitalism going, I think you're right. That would actually be a solution because it says it's something fundamental about humans. They want their organizations, which are extension of us. It's just a bunch of people getting together, making an organization, whether it's a government or a corporation or a fucking team or whatever. But they want it to feel like, something that is targeted towards doing good.
Yep.
Or at least more good than bad.
Well, I think it also. This is going to go into grappling a little bit, or fighting, just period. I think, in order to start building a more ethical capitalistic society, some of these guys just got to get punched in the mouth every now and then. Like you go to these boardrooms and it's like, oh, I got here on my private jet and my helicopter.
It's full of pussies.
It's like, dude, when's the last time you got slapped?
Yeah.
You
And
know,
not
like,
only that,
like
but
straight up.
not only that, but these same pussies are now like, they're trying to look like they're aligned
Yep.
in this fake way using ESG. So
Yeah.
one of the reasons that I hate ESG so much is because it actually it's making it look like something's fixed that's not fixed.
Correct.
In
Yeah.
fact, some of the highest ESG scores, ExxonMobil.
Yep. Nothing's fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, what?
Yeah, it's a total fake thing. In fact,
Yep.
if you're you could be literally just poisoning gallons and gallons of poison into the water
Yep.
every day, killing all kinds of marine life every day. But if you have a trans woman in one of your ads or something like that, your ESG score goes up. So then you can pollute. It's like if we're this woke, we can increase pollution this much. ESG's fucked, guys.
Well,
it's so fucked.
What's crazy is BlackRock, State Street. There's one other hedge fund. The three major hedge funds. They own like all the S&P 500. They have a part of their like strategy is, I'm not going to call it like the wokeness plan, but that's pretty much what it is.
Yes.
It's like every company that they have a majority stake in has to follow
the
these.
guy from BlackRock has said we need to start forcing change.
Yes.
Dude, you guys are gonna have a bunch of trans people in your DMs.
Oh, come on.
We love-
come on now.
We love trans people. They can
Love
come
trans
in our
people.
DMs
I don't
all
have
they
a problem
want.
with them at all.
But
It's-
like they're actually being used in this. That's what also gets me is they're a victim of it again because
They're a
then
prop.
they keep getting used.
They're a prop.
They're like the front line of politics now for the left,
Yep.
and they're taking all these bullets and daggers
Yep.
because the left, also the right, but I'm going to say a lot of
Yep.
the left is keeping like the victims up front and center,
Yeah.
and then they're like, look at these victims. It's like
Yeah.
you keep holding them out
Like
as a
you,
shield.
Like
Yeah.
you are doing this.
no,
You're
exactly.
doing this.
This is you.
The shit was like never a problem. Like 20 years ago, like
it wasn't.
all these people existed.
Yeah.
They all existed.
They all existed.
and it was
Remember,
fine.
love everybody,
But now, like,
colorblind,
yeah.
all this stuff was going
But
fine.
now it's getting
but now
pushed in our
you have to
faces.
see it all the time, and it's a victim mentality, and it's tricking human nature because it's like people that are basically narcissistic.
Yeah.
It's letting them be super narcissistic by being the most woke out of everybody. You know.
Well, I think what's interesting, I mean, it's just old adage. Everyone knows it. History repeating itself, right? No one learns from history.
Yeah.
So, like, how we all don't agree with the woke agenda is how I also don't think, like, Christian ideology should be pushed to people either. You know, like, it's not like, oh, we're a Christian nation, so
Yeah.
we want God to be pushed and not trans stuff to be pushed. It's like, no, I don't want any of it. Like, leave me alone.
Well, yeah.
You know,
this is
like,
the interesting thing is everybody's always going to push there's always some version of history. Everything's always being pushed. This is one thing, like, you're going to be, by raising kids in general, indoctrinating them in some way.
In some way, yeah.
We're happy to have them homeschooled because
Yeah.
we don't mind. Maybe some of the teachers obviously kind of lost their minds. Most of them around here, good people.
pretty clear thinking
But
people.
the kids, it's usually the worst kid in the class ends up becoming the problem for then the whole class
Correct.
to deal with.
Correct.
You know, so you have real. I say the inmates are running the asylum.
Yeah.
You know, and that's
Yeah.
school,
Yeah.
and it's an institutional, you know, thing. And I've been in a lot of institutions myself, but I think my kids are loving it. They do play. They have 2 play dates today. You know,
Damn.
so
Yeah.
it's going great for them.
Yeah.
But
No, it is crazy to think about, like capitalism, corporate structure and culture, and how it interfaces with the current culture, right? Like 40 years ago, you had Christians running everything, right? It's like,
Yeah.
so you better not say bad words on TV.
and now the woke are
now
doing
it's
the
like,
same
what-
thing.
and they all, like, that's the thing. Like, it always evolves into something else.
It's a great point
Is
you
it just
bring
like
up.
a cycle, you think, or what's gonna happen?
well, it's just what's sexy at the moment.
Karen
right? Like,
Karen has gone from being
Karen.
like when I was a kid, Karen was a Christian right wing.
Yeah.
And now Karen is on the
is a
left
crazy liberal,
telling you
like,
what you can
purple
and can't
hair.
say.
Yeah.
Remember when like they were like you know, Eminem used to have lyrics about it like Tipper Gore is doing this and that. Like
Dude,
these
Eminem would
people
be-
that were like
He'd be fucked. if
these
he was
people that were
rapping.
like adding parental advisory labels and being like you know trying to regulate everything, which is so funny. But now we have that on the like. I saw someone the other day, can't remember what it was. It's like the word like loony or the word like just take any word and it'll be like, oh, somebody actually has a condition from an old definition of this word that this.
It was Stanford put
and
out
now
that.
every time they
Stanford put
move
that
the
out.
line,
Yeah.
every time the woke, I think it's self-defeating.
Yeah.
Because every time they move the line and you have to be now this woke to ride the ride,
Yeah.
they lose 10% of the fucking people.
Well, I think what's interesting, because I moved here from Portland, Oregon, in January of 2020,
bro.
the capital. We moved here because Portland sucks.
Yeah, tell me
Like,
about
I mean,
that.
like,
What was
legit.
it like there in Portland?
Well, like,
My buddy says there's just like homeless people everywhere.
oh yeah, and that's been a problem for
Yeah.
That's Oregon politics, right? Like they make a safe haven for states would ship like homeless people in, like because of the lax laws around loitering and camping on the sidewalk and stuff.
Yeah.
No, so when after I exited my last company, Jill and I were like, do we want to raise our kids here? Like, I mean, so Portland, I mean, I'm from the Northwest. Like,
Fair question.
Portland used to be cool. Like,
Yeah, I bet.
but it was like a 5-year cycle. It was like pretty like blue collar and then got super cool super fast and then just went
Right to
off the
shit.
fucking wall, dude.
Yeah, Antifa HQ. and
Oh
just
my
went right to
god.
shit.
Yeah, and so so we're like, where should we move? So we had a checklist. Like my in-laws are from St. Louis, and
Yeah, why'd you choose Iowa?
Yeah,
Karsten.
well, Karsten was here, and so I'll get into that.
Yeah, that's the one I did want to ask you.
Yeah, so so my in-laws were in St. Louis. I love St. Louis, but wrestling is a big draw for us, right? And so it's like, okay, well, we could go to Kansas City, but it's still kind of the same problem. Like wrestling's not as strong, and so Karsten was here, and like
So he moved before you. Like,
he moved like a year before.
and you knew
us.
he was going.
Yeah, he already had the gym here
Oh yeah.
when we moved.
That's right.
And that's Carson Carlson from Henzo. If anybody.
Yes, we're talking
Yeah.
about
Savage.
He moved here to town,
Savage.
and I was so pumped.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we already had Des Moines Jiu Jitsu Academy, Chris
Yep.
David, who's friggin' Master Splinter.
Yep.
And then we got another gym headed up by high-level black belt Karsten when he moved in here.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when he moved in, we both just tried to Darce choke each other relentlessly. I was just like, oh, we're going to be friends, you know?
Yeah. He's
And
Yeah, I
his
didn't
gym
even-
has become so successful.
I remember we did that open mat at like No Coast, and I didn't even know that's who he was. I just saw him like annihilate.
Just
people.
straight
I'm like, dude, who the
master.
hell is
Just
this
straight
guy? Just
master.
like getting busy on people.
Yes, and not a lot of people know that you were like a wrestling coach at his school
yeah,
in Portland.
Nico and I coached. I think Nico still coaches wrestling there, but yeah, Nico and I coached. That's my
and then
brother.
Karsten, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Karsten moved here, and
Mm-hmm.
that made you want to move here.
Well, it was one of the draws. So like when Jill and I were like, all right, Portland's not where we want to raise our kids. Or really the Northwest for that matter.
Yeah.
Not really where we want to raise our kids. So close to my in-laws, 5 hours, which is great. But then Carson was here, so we already kind of had a small community, and we knew the community would grow with jits. And so yeah, we're like,
Let's just go to Iowa.
Fuck it.
Plus,
Let's go
yeah,
to
you got
Iowa.
all the wrestling you want here.
yep. So my kids are
All the
eight,
boxes checked. bro.
8 and 6. One of
You
my,
knew about the weather though, right?
I knew about the weather. Yeah, because I lived
Just
in
like-
I lived
it's
in
like
Missouri for 3 years. So it was like,
Disrespectful in the winter, bro.
it slaps you silly for a little while. But I love it. Like, I mean, I think for 12 years of my life, I would cut weight in the winter. You know,
Yeah.
so it's like,
Well, also, the winter like keeps places from being too busy.
yeah.
Because like if I was year round nice like that, well, and I wouldn't say nice, but like because it gets pretty hot. But if it was like nice weather, like you think we're gonna have this little
I mean, it's
people?
growing
It's gonna
like
be.
crazy
It's gonna,
anyway.
Also-
it is, but like
Yeah.
imagine if the winter
So the
wasn't
cold
like.
weather
Yeah.
kills off like
terrifying.
large bugs and stuff too. Like
Yep.
stops
Yeah.
our spiders from being
Dude,
huge
this is
and
Mosquitoville
cold
here.
like
Yeah.
cold-blooded like huge snakes. We don't have like fucking pythons
Bro.
and shit.
Yep.
Alligators. But it also keeps weird people away. So
It
Florida's
keeps the weirdos.
Florida's
Yep.
perfect example.
Yep.
'Cause you got hot weather, swampy,
And weirdos.
Dude,
alligators, and weirdos.
And
So wherever
weirdos,
there's
yeah.
alligators, there's got to be weirdos.
Yep. Yeah, no, for real.
do you have snakes? Do you have snakes
But-
around here? I'm
just
terrified
small
of snakes.
ones.
What's your guys' views on snakes? Just a quick.
Oh,
Quick.
I hate them. I'd eat a snake, though.
You
Have you ever
Quick poll of the room. How do you feel on snakes?
Well, you
ever had-
mentioned snakes, bro, and I just see like
have you ever had a
I just
rattlesnake?
don't like snakes. I don't see why owning a snake as a pet is a thing. But
Have you had a rattlesnake?
have I eaten
Yeah.
a rattlesnake? Hell no, dude.
They're so good.
If I see a rattlesnake, I'm dipping.
Well, I did hunt it myself. I don't.
He
know
just
what-
bit into it raw. He
What
bit into it
restaurant
raw.
did you go to that serves
I
rattlesnake?
think it was in Florida, actually, which makes sense. Like,
Already in my head, it was.
Yeah.
When you said that.
Yeah.
Already in my head.
You're in just the
snake's pretty,
swamp
snake's
restaurant,
pretty
bro.
good. Alligator's great. Frog legs are awesome.
I think
Sorry,
it's because of that
Dude,
Anaconda
frog
movie
legs
when I was younger,
Are
bro.
disgusting.
Frogs?
Frog legs are
delicious.
disgusting. I mean, I haven't eaten meat in
In a
general
long
in
time,
like,
yeah.
You
12
still
years.
remember frog legs?
but I remember fucking frog legs. Terrible.
is there any
Yeah,
meat? Is
yeah.
there any meat you crave once in a while? Or
I
like,
crave
or
zero,
like anything?
zero meat. Like I've been.
You said eggs though, I think.
People don't know I've been vegan for I don't
Yeah.
know 6-7 years. Haven't eaten meat in like fucking 12 years at least.
Nice.
But no, I was saying like the only things I've ever really craved is cottage cheese. Just people go, what the fuck? I just like cottage
yeah,
cheese.
cottage cheese is great.
And then
That's hilarious.
I was telling him
Cottage
that I've
cheese.
been
I don't
want-
even eat
I've been
cottage
wanting to
cheese,
start my
bro.
mornings
Cottage
like
cheese is great.
I've been
but I
want-
don't either.
I've been wanting to start my mornings with an omelet lately for some
Oh,
reason.
yeah.
And not necessarily eggs.
Yeah.
I just like that I just like cooking an omelet. I don't know. It's
The
from
ritual
my
of
childhood
it?
or what. Yeah, I just go out, it's quiet in the kitchen, cook
Dude,
and so
for
I've
real.
been getting the just egg
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
and just cooking
Yeah,
an omelet.
cool.
'cause
Shit
that's what I
looks
want to
just
do.
like eggs.
It-
Why'd
it
they
tastes
name it
great,
just
too.
egg though? It's like why didn't they name it?
Is it
not egg?
plant based? What is
Yeah,
it?
It's justice eggs. I don't know.
It's really
Just
called
egg,
just
yeah.
egg, which is like that's an interesting name.
Huh. Is it? What is it? Like, what's it? Is it like pea protein or what is it?
That's
It's a
good
type of protein isolated. It's not pea. It is, I think, a type of pea.
Got it.
Yeah. Oh no, mung bean. Boom.
Oh, interesting.
Mung bean.
I have to try
Protein.
it.
Yeah, you've
Is it
seen
good?
it. It comes in like a little like.
Oh yeah.
Like, can you tell that, like, but it does it psychologically for you. It's like, oh, okay, I just made an omelet.
I mean,
like, we're good.
and it's purely consistent too. Like, there's not like little white thing or the little fucking.
Yeah,
Oh,
it is.
the
It,
membrane.
Eggs used to, dude.
Honestly,
even when
it
I
does
ate
look like
eggs
eggs.
back in the day
They're
when
pretty
I was a kid,
gross.
it would make me want to puke
What?
immediately.
Well, no,
guess
they're
I'm
like,
like-
no, I love
Oh.
eggs.
Oh,
But like the
okay.
membrane is like,
Oh,
that's kind
yeah.
of weird. Let's go.
Eggs is
get
gross.
that
The
out.
grossest,
Yeah.
the grossest thing
dude,
now.
I just. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
I
thing
don't
that
even
grosses
look
me
at
out the
that.
most now, like if you ate a steak in front of me, I'd be like, whatever. But if you just drank like a glass of milk, it'd make me want to puke.
Yeah, I do like some milk.
I used
but
to do that shit all the time, though.
It fucks my gut up though. Like, it just does. Anytime because my thing, if you can't tell, I'm all natty also.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
dude. The
But-
fans aren't sure.
Yeah, I know. I'm all natty if anyone wants to know. I got a secret diet that anybody just DM me. I'll hit you up.
Nicky Rod diet.
So my thing is like I used to eat like a half a bowl of cereal or a half a box of cereal.
Oh, yeah.
like before bed, and because I usually don't eat like during the day, so I just gorge at night. right?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
So, but anytime I would do that, like the next day, my gut was just wrecked.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, I wonder if it's a cereal.
Yeah. You're
And
like,
so I would just do like milk and like cracker or like saltines. I got that from my father-in-law. Like he does like milk and saltines. And I was like, oh man, yeah, it's delicious. Got still wrecked in the morning. It was like,
cereal?
maybe it's the milk.
Yeah,
and so I don't really do milk anymore.
Well,
yeah.
we're supposed to wean. This is my advertisement for weaning.
For what?
Every other mammal weans.
Yeah.
What's
Like
that
slow,
mean?
like
Wean.
weaning off of something.
Like getting off your mother's milk.
Oh.
Yeah.
okay,
Weaned
okay.
off.
So like go from like 10 cigars a day
Oh,
to like
okay.
5.
Oh, I
to
could
3.
eat. I feel
Weaning
like
off
I could-
cigars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel, like,
we-
I feel like I could easily get off milk if I wanted to.
But like,
Yeah.
But like, we're
I
the
just don't think it's
only
that
we're the
hard.
only mammal that's just like,
Like
no,
cold
we're just gonna
turkey.
keep breastfeeding
Yeah.
forever.
Like forever.
From a different species. Fuck
Yeah.
it.
Let's do it.
It's not like it's because we had this adaptation, this genetic mutation years ago that we can even still break down lactose
Yeah.
as an adult.
Yeah, like
So-
some
That's
people have it, some
interesting,
people
yeah.
don't.
We're not even
right?
supposed to be breaking that down as an adult.
Yeah.
There's a
We
mutation.
can theoretically get away with it, which human body is amazing because it can survive on all. It's like we covered the whole planet.
Yep.
We were successful. We can eat all kinds of shit because of that.
Yep.
But definitely, I don't think any part of the human body wants most of the planet's intolerant, anyways. Pretty much.
Right.
Yeah, it's terrible for us. I think on every level. Dairy products.
Yeah.
I have to
it's-
argue
it's-
with people like
yeah,
if you're
it's-
on the carnivore diet.
Dude, this dude used to be on
or
Facebook
keto
just
or
like,
anything
until
just
midnight, like
trolling.
arguing with people. I would always see Jared like
Fuck,
post
dude.
on his story, and
Dude,
I'm
that's so
like, how
good.
do you even have time to argue with so many
Oh,
people?
man.
But you stopped since then. It's just too much.
I don't even have
work, isn't
Facebook now.
Yeah, just too much. Yeah.
I just unplugged from the matrix on that.
Yeah. Might have to get it back there for the podcast. Come to Facebook soon.
it? Yeah, coming to Facebook soon.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go.
Not
If I
TikTok,
do,
though.
I'm just gonna
No.
pop in, be like, "Look, my podcast," and then just
Yeah. Yeah.
shut it back down.
Nice.
Yeah, no.
Jared, you got any tournaments you're thinking of? Or?
Okay,
Going
so I've done 4 already this year, and I
Yeah, you've
actually
been on
want
the
to do
scene pretty
wrestling
heavy.
next.
Wrestling match?
Are you gonna do beach wrestling?
Iowa Games. I want to do Iowa. I might do beach wrestling.
Is it Iowa Games in like 2 weeks?
Dude, can I
Which
tell you
is this
something
month.
about beach wrestling?
Yeah.
So I was just in Florida, wrestled my friends. Obviously, I didn't do any tournaments, but dude, guaranteed sand in your eye for like a week. So just know that.
Can I wear
Well,
goggles?
if you suck.
I'll wear goggles.
Yeah, listen.
If you
Maybe
suck,
that's
then.
what it is. Yeah, true.
I'm gonna be out there.
Suck.
I'm gonna go out there with a Speedo and goggles, and just fucking.
Dude,
you
no.
can push him out of the ring for a point.
Yeah, that's freestyle rules.
It's crazy.
Yeah, you can do that.
Dude, that'd be fun.
Beach wrestling's great. Beach wrestling became a thing like when I was in high school. Like they had their first like beach.
Yeah, I
wrestling.
didn't know they actually had like legit sanctioned fucking matches.
Yeah, it looks cool. I just never did it.
We should wrestle on all kinds of surfaces: ice wrestling, beach wrestling.
100%.
Yeah, ice wrestling.
Dude,
That sounds
100%.
safe.
Wait, so you're going to Iowa Games? I'm trying to get.
I want to do Iowa
Where's
Games.
that
This
at?
is July.
Oh,
It's
trying
in
to get
July.
I'm trying to
in
get
Ames.
Calvin to do it.
oh, an Ames. Okay.
I'm trying to get Calvin to do it. But
Yeah.
That's my son.
No.
Yeah, he's a beast. See him-
Dude, this is what's crazy.
Training
So
on
I was actually talking to who was I talking? Maybe I was talking to Joel about it. But what's crazy is so sometimes I'll teach wrestling still when Carson's out of town at the gym, and because I can't teach jiu-jitsu because I suck at jiu-jitsu. So, but anyways, like I am what I like to call a lazy wrestler. I mean, I can grind. I can grind
Lazy
someone
wrestler.
down. I can grind someone down. But I just do the basics.
Yeah.
right? Like
Keep it simple, stupid.
Keep it simple. And so this was maybe 6 months ago or so, I was trying to teach adults how to just do a simple wrist pass to a single leg. I mean, it's very simple. You don't even have to move. You just backstep one time, get the leg forward, pass the arm. The leg's just always there, every time. It's like, for one, how do you not see how to do this properly? That's how I'm thinking. Like,
the class was struggling. Like,
all of them.
figuring it
Yeah,
out?
all of them. Like, and this is, I think it's a natural adult thing trying to learn a new skill, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh man, don't know how to ride a bike yet, you know.
Yeah.
And so, but what's crazy is like, I went home that night, taught Calvin how to do it.
Instantly
Calvin
got it.
And literally the tournament that weekend, he hit it like 4
Oh my
times on a kid.
God.
And so it's just like being open-minded to learning new tricks,
Yeah.
right? Like you can certainly teach an old dog new tricks. Like you just
Yeah.
have to open your mind.
Well,
Well, Danaher's proven that, dude. He'll get people who are like early 20s and make them really damn good.
Yeah.
So it's like possible,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, people don't think they're athletic. You
Yeah.
know, like they don't think they have fluidity in their movements. It's like, trust me, I'm 205 pounds, and I can still fuck most people up on their feet.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like I'm not athletic anymore. Like
Yeah.
you know, like I can't really move. I had 2 knee surgeries 6 months
Yeah.
ago. Like
You just know where to be, though.
You just
from
know where
all
to
that-
be,
From
yeah.
all that training you've done, too. Like,
exactly.
You know.
And so, just ask Derek about how good I am on my feet still.
And I want to mention this while we're talking about it, but
Love you, Derek.
I always want to say you wrestled for Liberty University, right?
Yep.
4 years.
1 year. And
You
then,
wrestled for them 1 year.
Yep. And then I had my fourth shoulder surgery, and then they cut their program.
dude,
Yeah.
he's keeping, like, all the surgeons in business.
Yeah, 100%.
Anthony.
So I wrestled for him a year. So, out of high school, I was going to wrestle. I got some D1 scholarships and was thinking about going to Clackamas Community College. They won the national title that year, and that was in Oregon. I should have went there, like straight up. Like that would have been a good launching pad. But no, I had 2 shoulder surgeries my senior year of high school, and so when that happens, usually like bigger schools are like,
Peace.
good luck.
Yeah.
So I took a year off. Didn't really know, like, I just knew I wanted to wrestle, and I knew I wanted to wrestle D1. And so so my parents are pastors. I grew up in a Christian home, and I wanted to be a pastor myself. And so I literally Googled, like, biblical studies, Division I wrestling, and Liberty popped up. And so I was like, Lynchburg, Virginia. All right. Sounds about right. So, anyways, I emailed the coach. I was like, here's my credentials. You got some room for me? You got some money? He was like, yeah, come on out.
Wow.
And so literally like that month I moved to Lynchburg, Virginia in July, started training with their team, made the team obviously, made the number 1 spot, and
Nice.
then got hurt again. And then I met Jill at that time too. And so it's like Liberty cut their program. I rehabbed. I had scholarships up at Pennsylvania. I could have went down to Virginia Tech in Blacksburg, which was 45 minutes away. But I was like, I'm kind of done.
Injuries suck, dude.
Injuries suck. And that was my 4th one. And I've had knee surgery before that. And
Yeah.
so I got my degree. We moved to St. Louis. I became a pastor. I was doing my master's degree in New Testament criticism. And then I became an atheist. So
I thought that was
Dude, the way you
such a funny story because
I thought myself out of a job. So
didn't you say you were just up giving a sermon one day?
yeah, I was
Tell that story.
Yeah,
That's
I was
hilarious.
talking to a group of people and looked down at my notes, looked down at my notes, thought to myself like, this is bullshit. And I quit that week. Because like I just couldn't, and it was a journey, right? It was 2-3. I mean, it's still a journey. But for me, growing up, as a Christian, and then going to a Baptist school, which is Liberty's Southern Baptist school, like you're taught, like Liberty used to be very fundamental, and then Jerry Jr., Jerry Falwell's son, took over, and it started laxing up. But as a Baptist, or as a Christian specifically, you're taught that the Bible's true, right? Like, it has to be, right? Like every religious person with their sacred text is like, oh, it's true. because why would I believe this shit if it's not true? Like,
Yeah.
And so for me, it really, a lot of people will either run to a faith or run from a faith because of something that happens, a trauma, right? Like, my spouse died, my son overdosed, like whatever. It's like, so if you're a Christian when that happens, it's like, well, God's not real, or he doesn't love me, so I'm out.
Yeah.
Or vice versa, right? Like,
Yeah.
and so for Jill and I, it was like purely academic. And I'll give it a story. Like, this is kind of what set it off for us. So in the Gospel of Matthew and the Gospel of Luke, you have the same story, right? The Gospels specifically tell the same stories about Jesus. So in Matthew and Luke, you have Mary and Joseph walking from Nazareth to Bethlehem so Jesus could be born, right? Okay, so in Matthew, he's born. In Luke, he's born. Well, in one book, he's born in Bethlehem. He's there for 32 days to go through the temple rituals, and they walk back to Nazareth, like Jesus of Nazareth. That's great. Well, in another book, in Luke, he lives in Bethlehem for 2 years. Herod sends the wise men, right? Remember the story of the wise men, to Bethlehem, and Herod wants to kill Jesus because they said, we're here to, to find the new king of the Jews. Yeah. Herod's like, well, bitch, I'm the king of the Jews. And so he sends to go kill people in Bethlehem, babies specifically. And do you guys remember the story? Where'd Jesus go from there?
Oh, I don't know.
He went to Egypt. And so it's like, well, was he in Bethlehem for 32 days and then go to Nazareth, or was he in Bethlehem for 2 years and go to Egypt?
Oh, so it's like,
well, it can't be both.
yeah,
They walked.
yeah,
It would be an easy thing to be like, oh, well, it was all kind of in the same. No, they walked.
yeah.
Like, it was a long walk. And so that's called a textual variant. A mistake. It's a fancy word for a mistake. Or a contradiction. There's 117 of those in the Gospels alone. Like, stories like that where
They just conflict with themselves.
Here's
the funny thing is, you kind of looked at it as a Christian that became atheist, and I looked at it as someone who's an atheist who over the last few years has been finding more and more true things in the Bible and in other holy books.
Sure.
Where all the holy books overlap. That's where you want to hit.
That's the thing.
That's where you want to hit. Yeah. So
that's an interesting point around atheism, agnosticism, and stuff. Like, to me, it's shock value, right? Like, it's like I was a Christian, now I'm an atheist. But it's like, but do I still believe in spirituality, or is it like the universe or whatever?
Yeah.
Well, sure. Yeah, I have some thoughts on simulation theory. I have some thoughts of us actually being in a matrix. But the universe is supremely mysterious. Yeah. That could be a form of religion, right? And so it's not that I don't believe in something higher than us, whether it's consciousness or simulation or a God. Who cares? Like, I don't care if it's God. The point that I like to make is, a lot of Christians specifically will be like, God loves me. No, he doesn't. I mean, like, he just doesn't. Like, I mean, if he loved me, if he loved the world, right? Like, there's millions and millions and millions of children dying of atrocities every year. It's like, that's not a loving God. Come on. Let's just be real. We can call it what it is. And so what people should do is like, yeah, there might be a God. Can't prove that there's not. Can't prove that there is, but can't prove that there's not. But does he have the best interests for me, or does he have the best interests for himself? Well, a God can do whatever they want. It should be what's in their best interest, right? And so that's where I like to steer kind of the conversation. Is like, there might be a God, but he might not love you. And you know what? What are you going to do about it?
What's one of your highest values, though? I would say one of mine is definitely freedom. And if you think about it, if some type of creative force just gave us freedom, and then we made our own shit where there's millions of kids suffering, and which I almost overwhelmed myself a few times in my life just thinking about how much suffering every single day is going on, and I beat myself up actually for years going, why do I have such a blessed life? And I felt depressed even about it. Like, almost like I'm not allowed to feel happy today because there's
all the stuff,
something going on here, something going on there. And, so you have to kind of embrace and kind of have that attitude of like, God loves me, or you have to almost like receive, that whatever it is. Yeah. But you also have to know that maybe we're just given this free will or this freedom, and maybe there is a creator that's sitting back that's actually loving, but it's like, I love you, but once you turned 18, I let you move out of the house and I let you guys do what you want. You guys are fucking it up on there, but hey, that must be what you want because I gave you freedom.
Yeah.
So,
and it could be. I think people need to rationalize like why things happen. They need Hitler to suffer for eternity for what he did.
Yeah.
What Hitler did is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
So people need an afterlife for him to just be punished
we also
forever,
don't know. We also don't know what we don't know, and I've learned this from studying actually machine learning. Is that a decision here, and then what happens there? Like, it's possible that somebody who's really evil in history, I won't say this like Hitler, like you just said, because then it'll be like a sound clip, like he loves Hitler. There's like Kanye.
Look at this guy, he loves him. He doesn't want him to suffer forever.
But what if we're on a better timeline?
No, those are the views right there.
What if we're on a better timeline than we would have been without that occurrence? Or what if we're on the golden timeline, which is like AGI takes off, this thing, and then all of a sudden we're in peace and prosperity for all of eternity, forever afterwards.
Yeah.
And to get there, we needed all this shitstorm.
Yeah, and that's fine. I get the argument, but that would go back to my like loving argument, right? Like me as a father, like I would never put my kids through atrocities to teach them a lesson. It just wouldn't happen.
You'll let them bear a little natural consequence, though.
100%. But I'm not going to put their hand in a fire and be like, "See, fire's hot." Like it's just like, but that's what God does, right? Like it's like rape is bad, like let me prove it to you. It's like no, it's like are you kidding me? Like I would never. No loving person would even do that.
Yeah.
Like Jed doesn't have any kids. If he heard that someone was abusing my kids, I guarantee he'd go like chop them up. Like no one would allow that. Like it's and so. That's where my point comes from is like, yeah, I mean, it'd be pretty sadistic for a God to like let everybody suffer so that they can find prosperity. But can he do that? Yes, of course, he's God. He can do whatever he wants. Yeah.
I actually think this is a really important aspect of working out. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that too. But like, is the actual suffering itself. Sometimes I'm doing sprints or something like that on the fan bike and I'm just like, this fucking sucks so bad.
Yep.
And then you think about how far suffering can go for actual people who've lived on this planet or are living on this planet.
Yep.
And if you reflect on that, I mean, it actually can give you a lot of empathy. And so I think suffering voluntarily is actually a really powerful practice.
Well, you know some of the slogans from your time in the military, but what's one of the big ones that the Marines have? Pain is weakness leaving the body. Yeah. You have to suffer. But is it done at the hands of a all-powerful, all-loving God, or is it done because like that's just how biology works? Like that's how physical like growth works, but that's a physical suffering. That's not an emotional or spiritual suffering, which is very, very detrimental to people. Like when you're constantly agonizing over your spiritual well-being, is like, oh, if God's mad at me today, he's going to send me to hell.
Oh yeah, that's
forever.
Religious trauma.
Yeah,
syndrome,
it's trauma.
people
Oh
call
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Where they're like worried that, you got a 10-year-old kid that's like, if I touch my dick,
then I will die.
I will go to hell.
I will go to hell.
And burn forever.
But that's real.
Forever.
That's real.
Yeah.
When I was at Liberty, and this is kind of funny, I don't know if you guys watched the Jerry Falwell Jr. documentary on Hulu. So
I watched Better Call Saul, though.
There you go. Yeah. So
Great
Jerry
series.
Falwell Sr. Is the founder of Liberty University. He is the founder of the Moral Majority. And to give some perspective, like Liberty is the largest Christian university in the world. 2001, when the terrorists hit the Twin Towers, he's like, this is God's punishment because of gays. Like that's the school I went to, right? And so he died in 2006, 2007, like that, of a heart attack. And Jerry Jr. took over. And so some of the rules were like you couldn't date like for the first year you're there. You like can't like take a girl into your like dorm hallway or everything was segregated.
After 9/11?
No, that's just Liberty's rules. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And like very strict, very fundamental. Okay. And they kicked people out because so it's called the Liberty Way. Like they kicked people out for like having sex and going to a party and drinking. Like, well, come to find out, Jerry Jr. and his wife were swingers.
Oh my
And
god!
it's like, dude, these guys are literally destroying people's lives by the Liberty Way.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they're partaking in everything that they say they.
Isn't
no
that
one
how
else
it
can
always
do.
is?
It's always how
whether
it is.
it's like we talked about earlier, whether it's the Christian Karen
Yep.
or the woke Karen.
Yep. Don't matter.
Both Karens have their own skeletons in their closet.
Yep.
And it's all projection. It's all you're racist.
Yep.
They're racist.
They're 100%.
You're transphobic. They're
Yeah,
transphobic.
they're transphobic.
You're, yeah.
You struggle with pornography and adultery.
Yep.
You struggle with like, literally, like you could. This would be fun to do actually sometime. I'll compile it together. It'd be fun to watch like all these like bigoted pastors and like what they talk about all the time, because whatever they talk about all the time is actually what they're doing. Like almost every time.
That's funny.
You know, like,
whatever the most of their sermons are, they're all about adultery or something.
Yeah,
and then
it's like,
just
dude, you're 100%, 100%. Like, oh man, yeah, that'd be a fun exercise to do.
Compile it.
He's
Compile
like,
it.
I know a lot of you are tempted to go do a bump of coke off a stripper's ass tonight.
Yeah, Ted
Don't
Haggard,
do
don't
it.
do it. Don't do it.
It's like that was specific.
Yep.
Super
Why
descriptive.
was that so specific?
Yeah.
Rogan did a bit. I think it was on his Flying Monkeys tour about Ted Haggard. Do you guys remember Ted Haggard?
That
he was
sounds
a
familiar.
mega church pastor in Colorado.
Okay.
And he started like basically he was like the biggest anti-gay like pastor in the country. Like,
Which you know what that means.
dude, he was banging male prostitutes and smoking meth with them. Dude, what?
Can you imagine? Can you imagine the lifestyle of someone living that kind of? It's probably that they're just like a real sociopath, but they just get off on like living both sides of it at the same time.
Yep.
In the same timeline, like
Yep.
I'm gonna be like horribly oppressive to myself.
Right.
And again, that's about self-hatred,
Yep.
which I was saying to you earlier. Like if somebody says God loves me, if that's the only thing they got to hold on to, I'm like, hold
on
wrap.
to that tight.
They're holding on to a little,
Yep.
a little flotation device.
Yep.
But the real spiritual journey is when you're just like let go and you're like, none of us are holding on to anything.
Yep.
There's no concrete reality. There's no concrete. Oh, there's God feels this way. It's in a book. I got it to hold on to.
Yep.
There's nothing to hold on to in reality. We're all just falling in the void. But
Well, one of the biggest things that people asked me, like when I first left the faith, was, well, how do you know how to be good then? It's like, well, what do you mean?
yeah, that blows my mind because I go, so you're telling me if a book doesn't tell you right and wrong,
Yeah.
you don't know?
Yeah.
I'm not going to have you around my kids.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I was like, if I punch you in the face, would that be good or bad? And he's like, that would be bad. This is just he specific. This is a character now.
Yeah.
Be bad. Well, did God tell you that that's bad, or did the pain in your body tell you that it's bad?
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, I can see your point. It's like, yeah, you don't need a moral lawgiver. Like that's literally what like consequences are. Like the universe, like evolution teaches that. Like you know, like if you eat all your young, you won't have life anymore. Like your species will just go away. It's the same. Like you don't need like a moral lawgiver to say you can't do that. You know, like
Although, like, a bunch of these religions do teach, great, like, morals and stuff
Sure,
like that.
yeah.
You can make the argument that, like, the fear of God is what stops people from, like, doing crazy shit.
I don't think some people.
no. I want to. How many atheists do you know that like blow shit up?
Well, that's extreme. You're going to, like, fucking terrorist attacks.
I know, but
I
it's
mean, like,
all in the name of God. Like it doesn't matter what God. It's just like
You're kind of arguing for the social control aspect that it has, or the self-restraint aspect that they try and.
what do you mean?
Well, like of religion.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like,
You're saying
there's a lot of
it can
good
be good
teaching.
if maybe there was somebody that said.
Well, it
the
goes
only thing
back
that
to your
stopped me was
weapon
that.
thing. You were talking about, like, a weapon.
Point it the right way.
Yeah. Like,
No, I
if,
agree.
if pointed in
Yeah.
the right
I think-
way.
I think these religions are going to have to change and update over time. Maybe even go back to more like what they used to be. Because I think people just probably did a bunch of like psychedelics out
dude,
in
they
the
were
desert.
all tripping.
And then they wrote a bunch of holy books
Yeah,
out of
they
the
were
same
all
time frame
tripping.
of humanity. And then we might come back to that to a point where it's like you can be Muslim. Like, because I was actually having this conversation with some Muslim friends of ours, and it was like, they're like, what does our faith look like? Because they're going back and they're having these conversations. And then another one was a Christian family, and they're kind of having these conversations. But they're actually both in the same kind of like, it's almost like
But
we're
I
all
feel
going to have
like-
like a spirituality, but then there's traditions of, I'm going to focus my spirituality on the 5 times a day kneeling over, the 5 times, or
But I
just
feel
pick a
like-
tradition you like,
Yeah.
you know.
I feel like having a strong faith though, like you're not easily manipulated. Like in this time, especially like with the media, like if you have no set of beliefs, like if you don't have a faith, like you could just be moving like a piece of paper in the wind. I feel like, you know what I mean? Like think about like Habib Nurmagomedov for example. Like there's no like manipulating that dude to like support trans movements or any of that shit. But if you're like a clean slate, you could, I mean, hypothetically, the media could just manipulate you to believe whatever the hell they want you to believe.
Well,
And
I
a
think-
lot of the shit that they like are showing, like even the music videos are just, it's just like, it's like they're pushing this weird agenda of like weird shit.
Well, they're pushing their own like
They're pushing their
religion
own weird
replacement,
religion,
kind of.
which is just fucking.
Well, we have state religion.
So
here.
like as
That's Republican Democrat. Like we have like everyone is religious in America. Now they just have political religion, right? Like
Yeah.
and so think
Dogma,
about that too. Like
ideology.
dogma, ideology. That's why I don't want to like pick on Christians or Muslims or Jews or whatever. It's when you have such strict dogma, right? Like that's bad.
Dogma's the real enemy, right?
That dogma
Because-
is the like allegiance
What's
to
dogma
dogma, like
Other
allegiance to
people's-
an ideology, like
Yeah.
like doctrine, essentially.
It's like just following other people's thinking
Yeah.
instead of your own.
oh okay.
So
Yeah.
like, it'd be like in Jiu Jitsu, some of these gyms out there in the world, that people will be like out traveling or something, like, I went to this gym, but nobody really knew that much Jiu Jitsu or whatever. It's like, okay, there's dogma in there too, where some people think this is the way that works, but we have a little bit of a dogma correcting thing called tapping someone or not, or pinning them down or not. So we have this objective reality that comes in. And I think that as people have more and more objective kind of spiritual experiences, or if people can touch that side of themselves more or whatever, then it's like that
people-
can be hugely valuable. I don't think you need to necessarily swap out one dogma for
No,
another dogma
no.
just to keep them from this dogma.
Right.
You know, that's
Jiu-Jitsu is a dogma, bro. It's
Dude,
a new religion. That's,
bro, like
It is the new
it,
religion.
it is a cult.
It has
dude.
truth
Like,
in it.
It could
it
be
definitely is a cult, bro.
well, especially some of these gyms where it's like sign a contract forever.
Oh,
and
God.
like, dude, it's like who was talking? Someone was just talking. I think Rogan was talking to somebody about that. Like these gyms that like allegiance to the professor, and
like you need the
you bow
the
to the
clothes
yeah,
for the gym.
Yeah,
and
you
shit.
bow
It's
to the
like you can't-
professor that walk. Like,
Bow
when-
to your
it's like, dude, what? That's literally a so like that's the thing. It's like it's not just
we're
like
it's one of the
religious folks. It's
like we're susceptible to it. It's
Yeah.
like a mind virus,
Yeah.
if you will.
no, it really is like well, and like that's, I mean, just look at the history of Scientology. L. Ron Hubbard, you know, like he was a science fiction author
He did a whole religion as a fucking
as a
prank,
joke, as a prank. Yeah, he was like. So,
just to prove a point.
just to prove a
And
point,
he
like
proved
religion
the
is how you
shit
make
out of
money.
it.
Yeah, he made this shit up
Yeah.
and got tens and millions at one point of people to like buy into it. And it's like religion
He
is,
just wanted tax-free money, bro.
bro. That's why I had to get out of it, like because it's like I could easily be a charlatan. Like, you know, I could be like, yeah, I don't really believe it, but look at all these people that are like bowing to me pretty much. Dude, I would get like, I would have
So
like,
there's an incentive, even if you're not into it.
yeah, dude, I
Money,
would,
money talks, whether
Bro.
you're selling your soul
Yep.
working in a cubicle or if you're presenting in front of people an
100%.
ideology that's not 100% yours.
yeah, no, it's true. So I think like what I like to see and what I like to talk to people about is like, dude, believe what you want to believe. If it makes you happy, if it makes you healthy, if it makes you a better person, fucking go for it, dude.
Yeah.
But two things, like, don't necessarily push that on me or my kids or whatever. So it shouldn't be in the public square. It should be talked about, but like, you shouldn't be teaching X, Y, and Z. Pick your poison in school.
Yeah.
Teach them how to do math.
like reading, writing,
Teach them how to
arithmetic.
read.
Yeah.
Like, teach them how to.
Well, I
think.
feel like
Whatever
school
happened
could
to that?
be so
Yeah.
much better. Like, why don't they teach you how to like fix a damn table?
Dude, for
Why,
real.
like, why can't some of the classes be like, yo, fixing shit?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
like everybody grows up and they just have like a great set of skills.
Yeah. Yeah, and it can be so well
Like
rounded.
I never used the quadratic formula, bro.
No,
That's
I don't even know what
that's
that
at
is.
least
Fuck
something
the
though.
quadratic formula.
So I mean, I'm not. With,
I mean, he does.
I'm
He has
not
a
with him
PhD.
on that.
Yeah. So Jared disagrees, but
Like, why are people
Jared's
talking shit? Don't shit talk quadratic formula
Jared's
on my
like,
podcast.
I love mathematics.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
But I mean, that's something we can objectively use for a purpose.
Dude,
It's not.
a language of the
No, and
universe.
I'm not saying it should be like math or fixing shit. But
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
saying
those
like,
are
you
two
could.
useful
There's
things.
so much time,
Yeah.
and from you as a kid to like 18, where you
Yeah.
could just learn so much shit.
No, you're
Yeah.
learning.
But I
at
feel like it's
school.
deliberately done. Like they
Yeah.
know that, and they're just like, "Fuck that." We
Yeah.
don't want people just.
You're learning
be-
at school how to be like a good consumer, how to be a good worker,
Dude, you
sit
could
in
learn
your
so
spot, be
much.
told what to do, and
Pledge allegiance to something.
I fucking
How to
learned
be-
about like the Battle of Tomahawk in North Dakota.
Right.
I don't know shit about that.
Well, so that's the
That has
thing.
come to
That's-
no use for me.
That's why, but I think it's. Let's bring it back to religion just one more time.
Yeah, dude.
No, but this is why history is important. I mean, it could be with anything, with the woke movement, with religion, or what. It doesn't matter. So, like, in the West, like, you know, Jesus is God. He's the only one that's ever been raised from the dead. That's not true. That's literally like every Greek hero was like born of a virgin. Like Romulus, the founder of Rome, was born of a virgin and a snake.
The Undertaker.
Yeah, dude, Undertaker, of course.
Repeat
So-
offender, dude. He's a repeat offender.
Bro, and like that, like the thing is like during the first century, you know, there was a man in ancient Palestine that, you know, was said he was born of a virgin and had 12 disciples and did cool miracles, and then he was crucified. Like, who would we say that is? Jesus.
yeah,
His name's Apollonius of Tyana. Like, that stuff happens like all the time. Like, and so Apollonianism and Christianity were like fighting it out, and then Christianity won because of politics. It's just like history's important.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like, oh wow, if you sit down, like most Christians don't know that. It's you can Wikipedia it right now. I mean, like, it's
also-
literally real.
I also heard that Jesus was just a guy that went away for a while, became like an Indian mystic, came back as a potentially one of the stories, you know.
Yeah.
Came back, and then he's just like, he's basically realized that he and God are one,
Right. I mean,
which is like just a spiritual experience.
Yep.
And so he's then preaching that message, and then it's like, oh, once the Christian church couldn't do away with him anymore, they were like, okay, fine, he was God's son, but none of you are.
Yeah.
And it's like, hold on, wait a minute.
Yep.
Don't we all get to be God's children? Isn't that the same? So it's like, it was just like a conspiracy of the church to be like, this dude woke all the way up, you know?
Yeah.
Not woke, but like awake.
Awake
versus
you meant woke.
Yeah. He awoke all the way.
Yeah.
But like, we don't want any of you to start to feel that powerful, as if you are one with the creative force of the universe, in which we obviously all are.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard, yeah, I mean, that's a,
They want you to feel powerful. They want a layer, a hierarchy.
yeah, that's, that was a later development of like thinking of who Jesus was. We at least know that he was just like a man in Palestine.
Yeah.
You know, and he was a rabbi, 100%, most likely. And he was a zealot, which he was a fundamentalist. Like he was an apocalypticist. Like he believed that the imminent like destruction of the world was coming. Most Jews did not believe that.
So he was just basically
dude, he was
kind of manic and crazy.
Yeah, yeah. He was no, seriously, he was like an end times prophet.
Yeah.
You know, and like and when you have literally the entire population illiterate, you know, like they're poor, illiterate fishermen. Like, I mean, nothing against poor illiterate fishermen, but
Yeah.
if you find a charismatic personality that comes
Yeah.
into your town, you might be like, let me check this guy out.
Yeah.
Oh, and then he's promising like to release your oppression and get the Romans out of here and set up his kingdom
Look how
again.
easy it is to be
so easy.
Look how easy it is to be a con man these days.
Yeah.
It would have been easy as shit back then.
Right, Amway, ever heard of it?
Yeah.
Come on now.
Dude, I'm working for him. I actually have some stuff outside. I was
You want to
gonna
talk
show
about
you
that
guys.
stuff outside the
Yeah, I'll save
vitamins?
it, though.
Okay, yeah.
Next podcast. Anyway.
Nice. Oh man,
I didn't know we were going to talk about Jesus this much.
that's fine. We can keep on going.
Title this religion. I wanted to get some jiu-jitsu talk in.
Let's go.
Yeah, dude. Are you back to training now?
I just showed up Friday. That's where this map burn is from.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, show up and I don't know. I was just taking it easy. I had like a bunch of anxiety for some reason because I haven't been training very much. So, but no, it's weird, man. Like, even if you take a bunch of time off, well, a couple things I want to say. Even if you take it's like riding a bike, dude. You get back into it. Like, you know,
You were out with a shoulder injury for people that don't know. Right?
Yeah, so
I
had like a small...
You were getting really like, your jiu-jitsu was getting really good.
Yeah, I felt like I was like entering like some serious growth phase. You know what I mean? My guard passing was getting really good. My game was coming together.
Yeah.
But yeah, had like a small like little labrum tear. It's too small to even do surgery on, and I took a bunch of time off, which was actually a good thing because, dude, I feel damn near 100%. But the beautiful thing about this injury was it not overhauled my game, but like I changed my game. Like I'm like all elbows inside now. Like you're gonna have to work really hard to separate my limbs from me.
Yeah.
And that's like it's a great skill to have because like think about you're strong in this position, but like when your arms are extended, you're at a compromised position in anything. So like I've come back and I feel like my game changed a bit in that sense where I'm like not giving up underhooks, you know, like making people really work for that, and just understanding the dangers of having your limbs away from your body. That's where injuries happen, in my opinion.
Are you going
multiple ways? But
are you going to? I mean, you really got into lifting with your buddy Tanner.
Yeah.
Who is a natural bodybuilder, and he's yoked, and you said you're just kind of following his
Tanner's like
his lead, right?
Tanner's like a fucking government experiment. Like his genetics are insane. Like I've known him for a while. He moved out to Cali and now he's back, but he's not a bodybuilder, dude. He's got like
I don't know what to call him because what's his point of working out? He wants to build his body, right?
He's yeah, true, but like his muscles and his body, I'd compare it if it was like an automobile, it'd be like a Porsche 911. Like he's high performance muscle, like
right.
Fucking fast, fucking strong.
Well,
you got those bodybuilders
movements
that like can't scratch their back,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, and that's me too. I don't want to be that type of bodybuilder, or I'm not even like I don't even consider myself a
body sculptor.
Body sculptor. That's Anthony calling me a body sculptor, but I guess now that's what I am. But no, but anyways, yeah. So I've been following his lead. He does a lot of like balance training. We still do like progressive overload, so it's not like we don't know how to gain muscle, but we're really just trying to like the performance of our bodies, like increase that.
Yeah, so, I want to come work out with you guys sometime.
Dude, we're gonna have to catch a lift.
I want to have
now that your gym is here.
Yes,
we're gonna have like an accumulated like 18 pack between the three of us.
I want to learn about that. I want to learn about this thing, progressive overload. My workout's been random almost all year, like just grab some kettlebells and just do some little random thing. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of have kept muscle doing that too. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, that's the thing. Like if you like breaking down muscle is hard, but like maintaining your muscle is pretty easy. So like it's like once you earn it, like it's paid in full, dude. You could get it back.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about like going the natural route and just earning your muscle how you should earn it. You could easily just get it back.
You're not deflating, uninflating. Your balls are getting tiny. You're fucking. Your voice is getting pitchy and moody.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So,
you're literally getting little bits of boob tissue. You're getting your balls are shrinking.
Yeah,
I think
the podcast has seen my nipples.
Yes,
confirmed. No gyno, bro.
Yeah, you should. I don't even know why we had you wear a shirt on this podcast.
Yeah.
Next time we're gonna have a no shirt policy.
Let's just go no shirt next time.
I was gonna say this though, like the whole progressive overload. I've been on like strict workout plans where it's like like you're recording all your numbers and you're doing a proper deload and shit like that, and it's like you can make the argument that's like the most scientifically proven best way to work out, but at what point do you like? You have to have a fun factor. I feel like if you don't have a fun factor, just like in training, your workout could get what's the word? MON something.
Monotonous.
Monotonous, yeah.
Yes.
Thanks, bro.
Gotcha.
It could get monotonous, and it's just like the fun factor, in my opinion, is what gets you to that next level.
Well, that's
because I know people who just train like strict as fuck, and it's like it's cool. It's just like I don't know. I like to have a fun factor, so I still follow progressive overload, but I still throw in like side quests, bro, and that's usually biceps, and shoulders.
Same.
And you got your Mr. Full Range page where you're sharing more of kind of the workouts that you're doing.
Yeah, I'm just sharing more of the workouts. So it could be me, it could be Tanner, it could be I guess that's who we train with, but I'm just trying to like show useful stuff instead of just like posting fucking like selfies or some shit. I'm trying to have it be like informative to a degree, showing people what I do and what we do. Take it how you will. You know, if it gets big enough, I'm sure people will be like, dude, that's such a stupid lift. And I'm like, okay. Like, people criticize like balance training a lot. It's like, why would you need a balance on a ball? It's like,
Have you ever been pushed over?
yeah, have you ever been like all like the like the people, the wrestlers?
Ever been drunk?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You fall to the level of your training, dude.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's like, of course you're not walking on a ball all the time, but it's just the motor skills in your mind get utilized, and it's like, why not? If you're doing shoulder raises, do it on a
Every
Yeah.
one of your muscles is like an extension of your brain, because your brain is all hooked into. Have you ever seen one of those images of like a brain and like the central nervous system only?
Yeah.
Like they talk about mind muscle connection. It's just actually connected, and it's about actually training yourself. It's an intelligence. It's a body intelligence.
And if we know how science works, like, it's like, okay, if we go back 100 years, let's say there was some guy who was preaching the best scientific stuff in regards to lifting. Well, that's 100 years ago. That he's gone now. Like, you kind of have to trust yourself too. You have to be your own doctor and be like, I believe in this too, because in 100 years from now, the dude that people are looking up to,
Liver King.
yeah, Liver King. But Liver King his shit's gone, you know? Things change. So you have to, like, listen to yourself, too. Like, you should seek science and, like, legit people, but you should, like, just in jiu-jitsu and grappling, like, you know, you have people to look up to, Gordon Ryan and stuff, but, like, if you see something that's you're battle testing and it's working, like, trust yourself, too.
Some people are out there, like, doing the equivalent of, we would think it's funny in jiu-jitsu because, again, we have that feedback, but there's some people out there who'd be doing 100-year-old jiu-jitsu or something, which could be good technique
Maybe.
but it's like not with any of the new updates coming.
Exactly.
So
You
some
have to
people are out
always
there
remember
training in the old ways,
Yeah.
and we keep building on that scientific knowledge, and it's actually coming more from across the globe now, which, again, with jiu-jitsu is like Instagram and YouTube, and everybody's like, a technique happens in a tournament somewhere on the globe that we haven't seen before. 8 channels are breaking it down tomorrow. The next day it's on some jiu-jitsu times, and it's like we figured out, like, the buggy choke came, like, and it was like we all had to figure it out, you know, like immediately. So whereas it could have just been some years ago if you didn't have the internet,
and body types too in grappling
died, you know, as a technique.
Body types for sure.
Like, when you think of people you roll with, like, everybody is different. Like, you're different, you know, you've got like a wrestling style grappling, but even that's different from Joe Scanlon, for example, who's a wrestler.
Right.
Like, everybody just has like their own way of grappling, and it's crazy. It's like chess. Like,
it's kind of like their personality shows a little bit too.
Yeah,
because it is kind of a conversation in a way.
Yeah.
You know.
That's a good.
For sure.
That's actually a good point. Yeah, seeing the kids. It's my son and daughter wrestle, and you can already see like their personality coming out, like on the wrestling mat. Like, Calvin is like a lot more of a tactician, and he thinks about like all his moves, and like he gets really upset when he like doesn't do it right. And Clara, she's just a brute. Like, she'll just go out there just like headbutt somebody. And, okay, let's go. Like, and it's just, but like that's their personalities, right? Like, it's like Clara's like, hi.
Well,
and just like
what is a personality? What we call that is basically the words that come out of your large language model, like, to use the analogy from earlier, like the words coming out of your mouth kind of makes your personality, your actions, I guess, to a degree. But that's just your body speaking.
It's expressing itself.
Yeah, so it's just another conversation. To me, I look at the martial arts as a conversation where if somebody's having this long train of thought, you might need to interrupt them right now. Or you may need to let them keep talking because you're going to then use that against them.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to use what they just said against them.
Yeah.
Or you're going to... So I look at it as like a kind of cheeky argument where you're being manipulative a little bit, and that's jiu-jitsu to me. Like, that's combat sports to me. It's kind of
let them continue this entanglement for a minute. Like, let them work it out, and then it's done.
It's like a debate.
Yeah. And how much do you let it go? You know, like, it's an interesting art form, right? Like wrestling and jiu-jitsu. I don't really count any other types of martial arts as the same caliber.
You mean of art form or what?
Like
of like physical like exertion of
and
your art
practicality.
form.
You think?
Yeah, practicality. I mean, any MMA, anything that works in the cage is what I would.
Yeah, true.
Boxing, kickboxing,
Facts,
like
bro.
yeah. But Aikido, no. If Steven Seagal can still do it, no.
Let's collectively
Dude, he
get.
showed Anderson Silva that front kick, bro.
That's right. He did teach him how to
Remember
knock
that
people
interview? He's
out.
like,
Yep,
I showed
yep.
him that kick.
Yep.
Let's collectively get, because I was talking to some parents the other day and they were saying, again, Taekwondo, blah, blah, blah. Let's collectively, as a jiu-jitsu community, come together, no matter where you're training, and make sure all the parents you ever talk to know there's a kids program at Des Moines Jiu-Jitsu, doing pretty well. They even got second at from like no kids program to getting second at Subspectrum.
Yep.
Future Stars event yesterday, pretty good.
Well-
So we got some kids program there, and you got kids program at No Coast. That's always been a big program, and then you got kids program now at Henzo starting
Yeah.
up. We need to get all the people in the community to understand like this is an effective form of controlling
Yeah.
another person's
Well, I think
body.
the reason
Yes.
it's so effective is like how often you could like battle test it and practice it without like facing any injuries. Like if you're
Yeah.
doing Muay Thai and you're sparring, you're gonna come out with some.
But they're not
Yeah.
even doing
wounds, and you're
Muay
like,
Thai.
I don't even want to
If
do
they were
that
doing
for,
Muay
like,
Thai,
at least 2
if
weeks.
they were
Yeah.
if they were doing Muay Thai though, at least they'd be doing something with some efficacy to
For
it.
sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
fucking, and you could say, okay, well, but the Taekwondo thing, throw punches from your hips and this, and it's
Yeah.
and break fake boards. It's like
Yeah.
it makes no sense.
It
So
absolutely
Although
no sense.
Taekwondo, in their defense, they I think they started like a karate combat thing. That looks pretty legit. I've seen it on Instagram.
real
it pops
legit
up.
Taekwondo
Like-
is
yeah, so, like,
different.
there's-
I'm
yeah.
talking about
like,
the American
like
shit.
Machida. Remember
Dude,
him?
Machida was
Oh my
the
god, dude!
man.
Yeah.
I love
yeah,
Machida,
yeah.
bro.
So it's not like Taekwondo doesn't
Dude.
work. It's the
Yes.
Americanized.
It's the Americanized
Oh, okay,
strip
yeah.
mall
Yeah.
version.
Yeah.
And
Strip
what we
mall,
need
that's a great
is
term.
we need
Yep.
to get the strip mall Taekwondo soccer moms, Taekwondo moms, to be aware.
It's either make
of this,
Taekwondo great again or
and
Or abolish it.
or
Or abolish it.
and
Yeah.
I'll have some parents tell me, "Oh, my kids are always kind of wrestling and roughhousing," and it's like, you already got something like they need to express themselves in that way.
Yeah.
Cut to the last podcast where I talked about
Yeah.
the fundamental Fs.
Well,
Yeah.
I think they
You know?
should-
Yeah.
But
probably
they need
send
to be
them their-
fighting. If they're a
yeah.
little rowdy kid like me, you're gonna want them, for sure, for your sanity, to fight some other kids.
Plus, it still gives
Every
you the
kid needs to
discipline
fight.
because I think they
Yeah.
send them to Taekwondo to like get the discipline or just like get rid of their kids for a bit. But
Yeah.
it's like, hey, you could get rid of your kids and they can
Every
start
kid
to
needs
learn
to
to
fight.
grapple.
Every single kid needs to know how to defend themselves, how to effectively control another person's body. It has to happen. I think what's going to be an interesting evolution, and I think the Penn State guys are starting to prove it out a little bit, like the Jason Nolf, Bo Nichols. They're starting to blend jiu-jitsu into their wrestling,
Yeah,
which I
dude.
think is really cool.
Yeah.
So they have like a really obviously, between the two of them have 6 NCAA titles. So like,
Yeah. Penn
obvious,
State's doing.
but they're doing
Right.
it, and like they're making up new wrestling moves by adding in some jiu-jitsu technique. And so I think what's going to be interesting is now that jiu-jitsu has become more mainstream, or is becoming more mainstream, you're going to see the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu start cross-pollinating, which was going to, in my opinion, create the most ultimate funk wrestler of all time.
But
Which
do you think
wrestling's
that-
been evolving lately too, like the same way I was talking about jujitsu.
Yeah.
And then the cross pollination
Yeah.
of grappling's happening. There's some weird mixed grappling thing
Yeah.
where it's like going to be like this Khabib style.
Yep.
Yeah, I was
You
gonna
know.
say what's Dagestan doing? You may know more. Like they're doing something different because nobody's beating Seds alive, bro.
Well, they just wrestle bears, dude. Like, I mean, like,
Don't wrestle a bear. Don't wrestle a bear.
they, like legit. I mean, like, there's videos of
Wrestle a bear,
Khabib
bro.
wrestling a bear when he was like 10. It's like, what are you doing?
Don't let your kids play with bears.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
No, dude, that's
we're not liable for your stupidity.
They,
No, I mean it's a part of their culture.
you think the high altitude and the lifestyle probably? Has
It's a
something to do with
lifestyle.
it
I don't
too,
think the altitude has anything to do with it. I think it's a lifestyle because you go right across the mountain and they're not as good.
Well, why is
You know, it's
why
the-
is wrestling good in Iowa? Same reason probably. We're probably both in this small kind
It's a
of
culture.
small area, agricultural. I don't know. It's kind of
Yeah.
some similarities.
Well, you have
there,
to
too.
think like in Washington State where I'm from, like I didn't start wrestling till 7th grade. Like my kids have already wrestled 3 years,
Yeah.
and they're 8 and 6.
Yeah.
You know, like, and so it's culture, right? And so obviously, if you get a kid in a wrestling program when they're 6 years old and a good wrestling program, that's what I'm super thankful about being here in Des Moines. Is I don't want to be my kid's coach, but I was a Division I wrestler. I actually know how to fucking wrestle, and so, but it's important to me that I'm not like the dad yelling in the corner, you know, at my kids.
Yeah.
So we've been to 3 gyms here. We started at Grandview, which they have the most dominant NAIA program of the last decade. Then we moved to Porcelli's, who's a local legend.
Yeah.
He's coached pretty much Joe Scanlon was a Porcelli's guy.
Yeah.
Porcelli's kid. Legend. And then most recently, they went to TJ Moen, so Moen Wrestling Academy.
Backed up.
And he's a 2-time state champ and a double champ in Fargo. And I mean, like, these are the kids' coaches, you know, like, and so it's like, cool, I can just sit back. They'll yell at him for me. That's perfect. Yeah. We'll go grab some ice cream on the way home or whatever. Yeah. Get a Chick-fil-A sandwich on the way home or whatever after they just threw up in practice. And cool. I can, like, Jill and I can be fun. And like, you know, we'll go to Waterloo for a tournament. We'll go to Cedar Rapids, like whatever.
Yeah.
But they're having fun. They're winning and they're getting better. And losing, too, which is important.
We should just take some of the wrestlers and people we know in the jiu-jitsu community, put them together and start doing, like, kids wrestling camps.
Yeah, I think that's...
We're swamped with wrestling talent if we came together.
Well, I think what's interesting is, like, that cross-pollination that's starting to happen. You know, because, like, what do wrestlers do in the summer? Like, after now, if you are good enough to make it to nationals, you're done wrestling in July. If you're not good enough yet, which most kids aren't, like... I have this view about like jiu-jitsu grapplers as well, but everyone wants to go to nationals, right? Everyone wants to go to ADCCs. Everyone wants to go to IBJ, however you say it. Everyone wants to go to Fargo. Everyone wants to go to Tulsa Nationals. Like, it's like start winning regionally first. When you dominate your region,
for real,
then up your game.
Yeah, exactly.
Look,
dude.
no one gives a fuck if you win Subspectrum. I mean, it's cool.
Oh, thanks, man.
No one gives but no one like think about the global level, right?
Sure.
No one cares if you win a local wrestling tournament. No one cares. Dominate your region.
Yeah.
Become the most dominant force in your region.
Way, dude.
And then, like, my kids never going to go to Tulsa until they dominate their region.
Yeah.
My kids are never going to go to Fargo until they dominate their region. Because why?
Why?
If you can't win here, you're not going to go win ADCCs.
Exactly.
You're not going to go win Fargo.
Exactly.
Like, you know, and so that's what, like, I'm, especially how crazy, you know, kids' parents are in the wrestling community. Oh, we drove up to Minnesota for a national tournament. We went to California for a national. It's like, dude, your son can't even win here. Like, why are you going everywhere?
Yeah.
Focus here. And if you can win here, especially in Iowa, both with jiu-jitsu and, you know, with wrestling in, you know, the 4 states that surround us. If you can win here, you're going to do pretty damn good on the national level. So that's what I've been trying to help parents with.
That's a good philosophy.
Dude,
I think I'm trying to carry that with jiu-jitsu too.
Yeah.
It's a little different with jits, right? With tournaments, just like wrestling's so much more developed.
It could be the
your
same.
Your point stands. Like, totally.
It's kind of the same a little bit too, because like if you're going and routinely winning or competing well at like Midwest finishers, then you should go to trials, and then maybe you'll go to ADCC.
100%.
I mean, like that's something I questioned after this last one at finishers. I was like, should I do trials this year? Because it's like I want to see myself actually get deeper run on a tournament that's basically a subset of some of the better guys at trials anyways in our region. Yep. And it's kind of regional.
It's regionalized, yeah. Well, and I think it is good every now and then to go and this is not shitting on our region. Like, it's like, if you can't dominate here, stop wasting your money. Like, seriously, like, dominate here first.
Yeah,
like,
and this will be a good sign if you're dominating here.
I think you all were talking about like weight cutting on the last podcast, and it's like, cut weight or not cut weight. Like, I cut weight my whole life. My kids aren't going to cut weight. Like, I don't think it really helps. It does a little bit, but not much. Like, 5 pounds is not cutting weight in my opinion. Like 25-pound pulls, that's
like a real
cut. A real weight cut. So if you don't really want to cut, or you're on the cusp, just get better at jiu-jitsu. 100%. Like, just get better at wrestling.
Yeah.
Focus on not trying to win based off of you're 10 pounds heavier than the guy. Focus on winning, like, because you're really fucking good at jiu-jitsu. Like, you're really good at wrestling.
I want to get some of that wrestle jitsu going too. Like, that was part of my motivation behind wanting to do some wrestling tournaments.
Yeah.
Up. One was that I want to work my takedowns. I've been working on my takedowns a lot lately. And if somebody just pulls guard and pretty much I work my takedowns
for nothing.
Pull guard. And then, but I want to actually get somebody who's not pulling guard, but also I want to try some of these wrestle jitsu things where it's like, what if this isn't really much of a wrestling technique, but if I have over unders and I have a butterfly hook, I'm going to sweep you to your back, even if it exposes my back just a little. A wrestler is not taking some of these chances on back exposure
not going to.
Because I've now spent, so I had the wrestling background, but now I've added 18 years of jiu-jitsu, which is a lot of off my back and other stuff. Like, so it's like, can I flirt with that line of, oh, you think I'm going to pin you myself almost, but now you're cooked. I can roll you this way, roll you that way. Plus, on the feet, I'm interested to mix in the judo like we've already been doing with jiu-jitsu. Now you're seeing it more like every once in a while. Back in the day, there was like that one person that like they knew a little judo or something. Right? But like now, judo had to cross with wrestling as part of jiu-jitsu. It was natural and normal for it to do that. And now wrestling's taking some of that judo because it's like, if you have an overhook, you know, I should probably try and throw you with that. Right. And then you're going to counter with that. And then like the judo throws in isolation without the kimono can be really ineffective. Correct. But when you chain them and you use them against wrestlers' good habits, air quote, can send them flying at just the right time.
I remember there's one guy, I can't remember his name. He won state, I think my sophomore, junior year, but he was a judo national champ, like 2-timer.
And wrestler?
And he crossed into wrestling. Yeah. This was before like judo and wrestling started crossing quite a bit. But he was just sending fools. Sending them. And then you started seeing more people like just incorporate. And like, granted, the people that did Greco.
No, what you're describing, like wrestling with judo, like that's this. When I went to Pedagogue, I rolled with Michael Pixley, and he's got that background. He's got the wrestling and judo, and it's fucking dangerous because he's got like trips plus wrestling. I'm like, dude, I don't want to stand up with this guy. I'm gonna go airborne.
The Hung brothers out in Portland,
what are they called?
Dojo Outfitters. Dojo Outfitters.
Oh, okay.
Andy and Louis Hung, they're the brothers. They, they're all in the national. Like, Andy was Andy was Travis Scott's like roommate in college. You know Travis Scott, like,
the
silver
rapper.
medalist. No, no.
Isn't there a rapper named Travis Scott?
I think so. I think his name's Travis Scott.
Dude, I just want to say that rap and music is trash now.
Hold on, let me look it up. I'm pretty sure it's Travis Scott. Let me look.
Literally, I get criticized. Like, I go to the gym.
Oh, sorry, Travis Stevens. My bad.
I was thinking of the rapper.
Travis Scott? I was thinking of the rapper.
I'm like, wow.
I was like, whoa. No, so
I was
Travis
trying to tie the two. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
So Travis Stevens is obviously a judo Olympic medalist. But Andy was like his roommate, like in college, like right under him on teams and stuff. And but these guys, they wrestled in high school. They did judo since they were, I don't know, like Calvin Claire's age. And they're 3rd-degree Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts. I mean, dude, like think about the package. You know, like, and they have an awesome like retail shop. Dojo Outfitters.
Boom.
Check them out. What's up, Andy?
We were talking about how wrestling and judo, the combination of that is just dangerous, bro.
Yeah, it's especially without, like I said, the kimono. Like, if you combine them, then you can really make it work.
Oh yeah, hip toss.
If you are just a
trips,
judo,
it's the trips. That's like if you're good at trips.
Trips are a big meta right now.
Mega meta, because it's like low risk, and if you're good at them, a high reward.
Most people aren't good at trips though.
But I know but that's what I'm saying. Like when you find someone that actually is,
or like
dude, it's super effective. I'm telling you, you're like, you don't feel balanced ever because you're constantly getting tripped.
I just step on people's feet.
Just stand up.
Anthony taught me some sick shit. He's like grabbing ears on the collar tie, and he's fucking
rolling with him,
stepping on feet. He doesn't care.
He loves the collar ties, dude. You're just fucking, your neck is sore.
It's
easy.
easy.
Roll with this guy, man.
It's just easy though. Collar tie.
All you have to do is just attack his knees.
Yeah, can you see my scars?
Knees and shoulders.
Yeah.
Attack
No.
his weaknesses. Just kidding.
No, you can't. It don't matter. I don't need any knees for most of y'all.
True.
Quick foot sweep and you're done.
Yeah, exactly. Just kick my knee out. It's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
That's hilarious.
I want to have Jetmir on again and talk more about your background and maybe some of the business ventures you're kind of been involved in. So, but I think I'll have you on again, and I hope to have you on again too. And we
Yeah,
can
anytime.
bullshit about some other stuff. I think like we got to talk about your business, but like some economic, current topical like bank failures or whatever. Like we could talk about all that kind of stuff, and we like talking about things happening in the economy and all that stuff too. So
You definitely let us know about Jesus, though, man. You were deep.
Oh,
into
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
You got the knowledge, man.
You got the knowledge, yeah. And like the thing is like
that's the cool
it
thing.
impacts a lot of people though. Like on a daily basis. Not just Jesus, but like how we relationally like look at like politics and religion and like just community.
Yeah,
and,
it's a cultural lens.
Yeah, it's literally
I just forget how much you know about that realm of things, too.
Yeah.
You've been in, I guess that makes sense.
That's the beauty of the podcast format. Just like any discussion, it's like
let
I
it
didn't
free
have
flow.
Jesus on my list.
Yeah, I don't even know how we
But
got.
we gotta
what
add
were
him
we-
to the-
Jesus had
He
you on
added
his
himself.
list, bro.
Yeah,
What?
he had me on his list.
The Holy Spirit added him to
And
the
with
conversation.
And with that, thank you,
And with that,
Jesus.
yep.
Thank you, Jetmir. I call him Jetmir. Not a lot of people know.
Yeah, that's
your
my real
actual
name, guys.
They're like, who's Jetmir?
Jetmir.
Yeah, who are
Yeah.
you speaking of?
Yeah, Jet, aka Jetmir,
Jetmir.
AKA.
Or-
aka Mr. Full
Or
Range.
Yetmir, aka Jet, aka Mr. Full Range.
And then we
Yeah.
have Anthony. On
I don't
here.
actually go around calling myself Mr. Full Range, but on the internet,
Yeah.
I'm the
And
Full
you
Range.
guys are both people that I catch up with routinely. So even outside the podcast, I'll talk to you guys again soon. Love chatting with you guys. Both members of the Matrix Escape Artists
That's
too,
right.
and we love to talk about our Matrix Escape plans.
Oh yeah.
Soon
On
enough,
there,
baby.
and we have a lot of little things cooking. So as this
'em
podcast
cook.
goes, we'll grow with it, and we'll keep talking about our ventures and things we're working on too.
Yep.
So
Right on.
Thanks
for
for having
coming,
us,
bros.
brother.
Peace out. Sick.
Do we take a pic? Do you do that? Yeah, I was
yeah,
gonna
we're just
say.
gonna do a pick. That's it.